Hey, what's up? Hello, my name is Dion Hudson. The subject matter that I'm speaking about right now is it's on a university level. I chose this platform to communicate it, and I'm gonna try my best to speak in layman's terms to describe something that can be considered complex in nature, but it's really not that complex if you break it down into its parts. So, the subject matter that I'm speaking about is called anti-productive preconditioning. Specifically, when it comes to how we set ourselves up for failure by the things that we tell ourselves or the things that we tell other people. So words have power. And words have meanings. And when you say these things, when you say something to someone over and over and over again, you're preconditioning this person to think a certain way. If you tell yourself something over and over and over again, you're preconditioning yourself to think a certain way. So they have something that's called positive affirmations, right? And positive affirmations, which is the opposite, which would be more like a productive preconditioning. Um, Positive affirmations is like you telling yourself something every day, which plays a part in you preconditioning yourself to think a certain way that's productive. Puts you in line to succeed and get things done on a positive level, right? So just like you have positive affirmations, you have negative affirmations. So anti-productive preconditioning will fall in line with the negative affirmations, the stuff that people tell themselves and the stuff that people tell other people every day, and it's not productive. It's not productive. And this specific one that I'm speaking on right now that really catches my attention is when people tell other people, specifically, especially the young, when the adults are telling this to the young, it's a form of preconditioning, and they're telling the young, be careful, stay safe. Okay. When you do this, be careful, stay safe, right? And they're always telling them this, right? And so there's some good to this, but there's some bad to this, right? The good to this is you don't want your child or the youth that's under your tutelage, if you're a teacher, coach, or whatever, father, parent figure, you don't want them to be reckless. So you tell them things like stay safe, be safe, because you don't want them to engage in behaviors that could get them in trouble. I understand that completely. But there's a flip side to this. Whether you want to accept it or not, you could also be doing something which is called anti-productive preconditioning. You could be preconditioning them to think in a way that's not going to be productive for them in the future. And the reason I'm saying this is because there's no way around it. We live in a world where you have to take risks and you have to take chances. And in order for you to advance to the next level, in order for you to be successful, you must be willing to take these chances and take these risks. And um, when you're telling them all the time to stay safe, you're telling them to stay inside their comfort zone. You can be enabling them from taking risks that they need to take in order to succeed. Okay, I'm not talking about unnecessary risk. I'm not talking about that risky behavior that could get them in trouble. I'm talking about necessary risk that's needed for them in order to succeed and advance in society. They have goals. Your role is to help them be goal orientated. What are your goals? What are you trying to do with your life, right? These goals are set. Now, each day that they live, they're either taking steps forward towards their goal or they're taking steps away from their goal. Okay, what is going to help them take steps towards their goal? Now, at times it can be an obstacle course. In order for them to achieve a goal, they have to overcome obstacles. And what's going to help them overcome those obstacles is that they have to have a willingness to take risks at certain times. It's not all cut and dry, and it's not going to be a cakewalk. Sometimes, in order to overcome an obstacle, you have to be willing to put yourself on the line. Okay? You have to be willing to take some risks, take some chances. This means not being safe. Okay? This means not being safe. Okay. And so this is where the conflict comes from. If you've already been telling them their whole life, stay safe, be safe, stay safe, be safe, stay safe, be safe, right? When they reach these obstacles that requires them to take a risk in order to overcome this obstacle, they can become stagnated. Okay. And their ability to achieve their goal has been obstructed because you preconditioned them to think a certain way. Okay. So if they lose, who is to blame? Is it the person who's been preconditioned? Is it the computer or the computer programmer? You know, because at times the mind can be considered like a computer, you know, a biological computer. So if you program the computer to function a certain way, you can't blame the system for functioning a certain way. You've downloaded all this information. You downloaded the software. You programmed it to function a certain way. So when the computer goes to the left or right and whatever, and you disagree with that, do you blame the computer or do you blame the computer programmer? Do you blame the person that's been preconditioned to think a certain way? Or do you blame the people that played a part in that preconditioning? Okay. So anti-productive preconditioning, specifically when it comes to always telling them to stay safe, be careful, stay safe, be careful. Is that the real world? Is that the world we live in? Okay. I know the country that we're living in wasn't founded on be safe and be careful. I know that the people that established this country, they took many risks, extreme risks, in order to establish this country. And in order to this country to develop, there was so many risks that was taken. Okay. You know, you might as well say that America's like a product of gamblers anonymous. Men were taking risks with their lives. They were doing all these things to establish this country that we're a part of. This country is a part of risky, came apart through risky behavior. You know, some men survived it, some men didn't. Sacrifices were made. Not everybody that rolled the dice won. Many people crapped out. It's a lot of men and women that never got to see the glory of America as far as what this country is right now. Okay. So this country is not a product of being safe, of being careful, right? And a lot of people who are successful now, you know, they have to take risks with their own money. You don't know if this investment that you put this money in is going to succeed. You don't know that. It could fall over. That's a risk that you take, right? Of course, it's an educated risk, but nonetheless, it's a risk. So, are you preparing them to live in the real world when you tell them to be careful and be safe? I don't think so.